Hi, my name is Timo Elliott. I'm an innovation evangelist for SAP, and I'm here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, for the second leg of the Innovation Analytics Tour of Asia and Australia and New Zealand. And I'm here with Robin Fong. Robin, could you introduce yourself and what is your role?
Hi, my name is Robin Fong, and I'm responsible for business development for Analytics Southeast Asia. And my key role is to promote and evangelize analytics to all our SAP customers in this part of the world.
And what's different about this region compared to other parts of the world when it comes to analytics?
Timo, this is actually very interesting. So when you look at Asia Pacific, you can actually categorize it into three different areas. So of course, we start with the North Asia, which comprises of China, Japan, and Korea. So these are huge areas and probably the second and the third biggest economies of the world. And going down south, you have South Asia, which is really made up of the Indian subcontinent and is primarily driven from India. And that leaves us with Southeast Asia, which is really a very diverse area comprising of probably 10 countries. But if you look at core markets, we have about 7 core countries. So Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia. And out of this region of about 500 million in population, we have multiple language, different levels of development, very different cultures. So it is the most diverse area within the Asia Pacific region.
So that said, the customers I've talked to so far seem to have the same kinds of problems and are interested by the same sorts of things as other countries. Is business any different here?
Well, I would say that, of course, in terms of the common challenges, it's quite common. It's about how do we drive growth, how do we maintain bottom lines, and how can we serve customers better. But in terms of the development within each of these countries is slightly different. So if you look at a country like Singapore, which I will rate first world, most of the companies have very good infrastructure, very good systems. So the next step is really how do they utilize and manage and better make use of the data that they already have. If you look at the other side of the spectrum, like emerging markets like Vietnam and Cambodia, most of these companies do not even have a transactional systems. So they are more at the systems of record stage. And the rest of the other countries like Thailand, Philippines, they are somewhere in between. They do have some systems and probably they are already at the stage of upgrading and then putting in new innovations like analytics, cloud, and mobility.
So is there an opportunity for some of those countries that are just starting off now to leapfrog and go straight to the brand new architectures where you're using things like transactions and analytics directly in memory?
Certainly, there are opportunities in these countries because these countries do not have to go through the legacy baggages, right? So they do not need to look at things like from a data warehousing perspective, a transaction system, a data warehouse system, and then analytics system. They can probably collapse the stack, and some of them can even move faster through using the cloud. And things like that. But of course, in these countries, the challenge right now is the availability of networks. So in countries like Myanmar or Vietnam, the networks are still not very established. So the key thing is, first you need to establish the infrastructure. And once that is mature, I think the rest of the innovations will leapfrog. So if you look at countries somewhere in the middle, like the Philippines, Thailand, or Indonesia, the interesting thing is that these economies are very young economies. They have a young population and huge population and a very dynamic workforce compared to probably countries like China, Korea, Japan, where it's an aging population. So you will foresee that in terms of the market, in terms of growth potential, these countries have far more growth potentials than the mature economies, including Singapore. So I guess it is at a very, very interesting economic development. So if you look at a country like Indonesia, it is the country with the biggest number of BlackBerry users. Right, so everywhere you go, you see people doing BlackBerry messaging. They do a lot of Facebook. They do a lot of LinkedIn, right? And as recent as today, I received 2 LinkedIn requests from people from Indonesia. So they are very social media savvy. So things like analytics, things like social media, things like mobility will be things that will resonate the next generation of business workers in this country.
Okay, and a last question. If we look at the new technologies that people are interested in, predictive, in-memory, mobile, cloud-based computing, cloud-based analytics, which of those do you think is going to be used first across the region?
I would say that first thing first is mobile. right? Because some of these countries, typically they have very poor infrastructure in terms of the landlines at the beginning. So because of the advancement of mobile, they can actually bypass landline, right? You don't need a phone line at every home, and mobile is the way to go. And with that, you'll see the rise of, cell phones, tablet devices. And the key then is what type of applications do we put in these devices? And that will be things like analytics. How can they analyze the business, right, in real time, on the mobile, on the go? So in many countries, in some of these countries that I visited, executives, they always ask me, so Robin, how can we do our reporting, not on the desktop, but on mobile, because I'm on mobile all the time? And secondly is, what are some of these business scenarios that I can apply analytics to? So they're actually moving away from just standardized enterprise reporting, but really seeing how analytics can drive business value in terms of increasing revenue, reducing costs, increasing brand loyalty, market share, and things like that. And so this is a huge opportunity for us to educate the market. So where we bring in very useful use cases, for example, in telcos, right? Where I'm in Malaysia right now, I spoke with two of the largest telco companies, and they are not looking at standardized reporting. They are looking at how can we do real-time offer management to our subscribers. Whenever they turn on their cell phones, right? What type of promotions can hit the subscribers, all right? And they're also looking at unstructured data, because today's information workers are so savvy in things like Facebook and Twitter and things like that. So the marriage of structured, unstructured together with analytics presents huge potential of growth in this area.
And I've also noticed that one of the big key uses of analytics currently is not so much just for internal users, but really changing the user experience, using information as part of companies' products. So, well, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, Timo.